In response from the increased aggression from China, Taiwan has actually increased the mandatory military service for men in the country. And so that makes things a little bit scarier in that region. And so that's what I'm going to cover in this video. So guys, as you smash that like button, let me run that intro. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying your holidays. It's not as, peaceful and tranquil all over the world. You can see right now that people are a little bit more on edge in Taiwan, and I'm going to break that down for you right now. So this was reported in the Wall Street Journal. So Taiwan has recently extended the military service, which is mandatory, in the face of Chinese pressure. And so their president says that the decision was extremely difficult, but let's just get into why this difficult decision was even made. So you can see here, the article goes on to say that Taiwan extended or is expected to extend the mandatory military service for male citizens due to the fact that there are growing concerns about a Chinese attack and intensifying competition between Washington and Beijing. And so, of course, you guys are well aware, especially, the people who watch this channel often are well aware of how the sort of like saber rattling between the two countries has been heating up as of late. I thought that these two countries were on the path to sort of being better friends, but, this is not the direction that we want to go in. And let me just describe that a little bit further. But first, the conscription will increase to a full year from the current 4 months in 2024. And of course, guys, I didn't highlight it here, but this is very important. The announcement on conscription came a day after the People's Liberation Army, so the Chinese army, sent more than 70 warplanes on sorties near Taiwan in what the Chinese military said was a response to unspecified collusion and provocation by the US and Taiwan. So effectively, China is responding to the fact that the current administration signed a defense policy bill that will give Taiwan approximately $10 billion over 5 years to finance the sales of military equipment. And you guys would have known if you've been watching this channel that this is exactly what I covered recently, because these maneuvers came, of course, right after this bill was authorized. Now recall, guys, here are the exact words from the Chinese military. So a military spokesperson said in an online statement that the Sunday's Joint Combat Readiness Protocol and live firing drill was in response to escalating collusion and provocation by the US and Taiwan. And so, the US believes that the Chinese action is destabilizing, it risks miscalculations, and undermines regional peace and stability. And, I did say in the video when I discussed this that this is the exact opposite of what both the US and China signaled to us just a month ago, where they said that, they're going to try and stabilize relations with senior officials expected to resume contacts, conversations, and sort of diplomacy. But like I said, when those original videos were coming out a month ago, that the one item that is going to be the biggest conflict between the two is the item that China has a hard line on. They do not believe that Taiwan is an independent area. And I've talked about how they even went to the UN and they said that it's a black eye in their history to have sort of lost Taiwan, and they do not believe that China as a whole exists without Taiwan. Now, they did say that they want one China, two systems, but there's a lot of people that question their ability to do that, and so they might just be saying that, but as soon as they take Taiwan, they'll just turn it into China. A lot of people do believe that, and there is somewhat some precedence for that, taking into account how Hong Kong was handled. And just a little bit more behind that conscription decision. So the decision was a result of 2 years of discussions, as reported in the Wall Street Journal. And so US military analysts have long urged Taipei to consider extending conscription as a contingency in the event of a Chinese invasion. Russia's invasion of Ukraine was seen as a wake-up call by people in Taiwan. And so right now, guys, here's the tough part. Roughly 80,000 people are conscripted each year in Taiwan. After they finish their training, they join the island's more than 2 million reservists. Taiwan maintains a standing army of approximately 180,000 soldiers, compared, of course, with China's of roughly 2 million. And I don't even know how many people are conscripted or sort of like reservists in China to add to that 2 million person number. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys think that is, or what it is. Here's a question we're all asking. How much can that army in Taiwan really hold their own against Chinese invasion, even if they could? Well, the Wall Street Journal did put out an article on that a couple of months ago, and they did say that they do not think so, or at least a few people think that the Chinese or the Taiwan military stands any chance against the Chinese. And so they're saying that it's because of a poor preparation and low morale that are pressing concerns as it relates to the Taiwanese military. And just diving a little bit into that, current and former U.S. officials and military analysts say that Taiwan must spend more on weapons such as sea mines and coastal cruise missiles that would better deter an amphibious invasion. Now, here's the tough part. The U.S. doesn't even feel that Taiwan can defend themselves, which I think a lot of us are thinking anyways. And so, what they're saying is all of that additional spending, etc., might allow Taiwan to beat back an invasion for a few days, providing time for the U.S. to come to its defense, or for it to impose enough casualties to force a rethink in Beijing. And so, there's not a lot of confidence here. And so Taiwan's president has tried to rally the public behind improving the military while pushing initiatives such as building more naval ships and missiles in Taiwan. Now, as things escalate, you would think that the president would have an easy way to get people on side. So I don't really know what's happening culturally in Taiwan. I think part of it might just be that the people don't believe that something like this could happen. But, a year ago, a lot of us didn't think that what happened in Ukraine could happen. And so it is a real wake-up call. It is a wake-up call for me as well. But I think China has a lot to lose if they did ever try and invade Taiwan. I just think that they destroy their economy in hopes of getting Taiwan. Now, if you have someone who doesn't care about the economy, it probably will happen, but I just don't think the current leadership in China, President Xi Jinping, does not care about the economy. I do believe that he wants the Chinese economy to pass the US, and so in order to do that, you got to play nice in the sandbox. Now, guys, I say this all the time, but I'm not the only one who believes that China and the US should be playing nice. I think it's a very good idea that they're friends. But once again, I'm not the only one. Here's Charlie Munger saying just that.
The Chinese government is worrying all the capitalists in the world way more than it used to. And of course, we don't like that. And we wish that China and the United States got along better. And if you stop to think about it, think of how massively stupid both China and the United States have been to allow the existing tensions to arise. What bad is ever going to happen to China or the United States if we two are close? If we make good friends out of the Chinese and vice versa, who in the hell is ever going to bother us? And I don't think we should be criticizing China, which has terrible problems because they're not just like the United States. They do some things better than we do. They should like us and we should like them.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm glad that Charlie Munger feels the same way. But now, if you guys missed that recent video where I discussed the border reopening in China, no problem. I've linked that video right here.